great choreographer George Balanchine once said that ballet dancers are like policemen. They work as hard as they do and are just as alert and as tense. However, unlike policemen, they have to look beautiful while they're doing it. Balanchine was right. Dancing is not an easy career to choose. These days, ballet seems to be in the spotlight. Films like Black Swan, television shows like Breaking Point and Bunheads have made it almost a cultural obsession. It seems to be every young girl's dream to grow up and become a ballerina. But for most, this dream will never come true. Why? Because dance is one of the most competitive and demanding fields in existence. A very small percentage of people have exactly what it takes to make it as a dancer. What does it take to make it as a dancer? I'd like to talk about 3 things that every dancer needs in order to achieve success. They are internal characteristics, external characteristics, and an action plan. So we'll start with the obvious first, the external characteristics. We all know what dancers look like. They're long, they're lean, they're lithe, perfectly proportioned. Their limbs are slender and delicate. They're swan-like. And this envelope, this figure that the dancers have, is one of their most important things. And in fact, if you don't have this figure, pick a different career. To illustrate, recently a family sued the San Francisco Ballet School for discrimination because they were told their daughter would not be accepted because of her body type. What these parents failed to realize is it's not going to change or get any easier. In fact, it gets harder and harder the further you progress in this career. So if you don't have the right body type, far better to choose a different style of dance or a different career altogether, or keep it as a hobby. It's never wasted time. But aside from those obvious external characteristics, there are others that aren't quite as obvious. Flexibility, for instance, in order to do those high kicks and giant gravity-defying leaps. Turnout, or external rotation of the hips, because the legs are always presented this way in all of the positions. And supple, beautifully arched feet. As every dancer knows, feet are one of the most important things in ballet. Good feet, we call them. Because the wrong feet look kind of like ham hocks hanging on the end of your leg. And the right feet complete the line perfectly. But aside from the external characteristics, the internal characteristics are just as important. Of course, every dancer has the burning desire to dance. That's a given. The desire lights the fire, but what is it that keeps the flame burning through all the trials and tribulations of that career, all the discouragements and the potential defeats? What I like to call the tools that help people manage these defeats and discouragements are the 3 Ds of dance: determination, dedication, and discipline. Determination means that you eliminate the word defeat from your vocabulary. You forsake that word altogether. No matter what that career may throw at you, you keep going. And keep going until you get where it is that you're trying to go. Determination, in fact, is the antithesis of defeat. Dedication means that you commit to something, to your project or to your purpose. And you keep going with that commitment. Dancers take it far further than most people, though. It's not enough to just practice, practice, practice until it's perfect, perfect, perfect. In fact, the level of dedication that dance requires means that dance really takes up most of the waking hours of most of every day, whether with classes or rehearsals, performances, maybe private coaching, and sometimes even strength training. So it's a huge commitment of time. And it also involves sacrifice. Sacrifice of time that you might spend doing other things or spending time with other people. And also sacrifice of certain activities that most of us take for granted, like skiing or horseback riding. In fact, the list of forbidden things for dancers is quite extensive. And the third piece of the puzzle is a plan of action. Once a dancer has made the decision to pursue a career in dance, it's important to map out your chart of progress, where you want to go. For many people, this means first you choose a professional school and take your training to the next level. People are in their mid-teens. Oftentimes, they're forced to leave home to go to these schools. They're in major cities throughout the country. And the way that you're accepted to these schools is through audition only, and the competition is very fierce. Only a small percentage of the people that audition are accepted. The majority of students begin first with summer intensives, and then if all goes well and they're lucky, they're invited to stay on at the school as permanent students. As you progress through a professional school and reach the advanced levels, it's time for more decisions to be made. So at this point, perhaps you're lucky, and the parent ballet company might offer you an apprenticeship, which means that as a student, you continue to perform with the company regularly, and it's often a stepping stone to becoming a full-fledged member in about a year. But most dancers aren't that lucky, and they have to go to cold call auditions. I would say the majority of ballet dancers have a love-hate relationship with auditions because they're very competitive and often quite crowded. But again, it offers an opportunity, and you never know which one will pan out. For instance, when I auditioned for Miami City Ballet, I was living in San Francisco, but I decided to take the opportunity and the chance. I bought a plane ticket, I went to New York City specifically for the audition. And the day I arrived, there were 300 people there to audition. By the end of the day, 10 of us were remaining. However, they had 5 more auditions to complete in 5 more cities, and only 10 positions to fill. 2 weeks later, I got the call. So you never know. Otherwise, sometimes a dancer might call directly to a company they're interested in and get lucky and be able to take a class. Maybe something will pan out there. As you can see, it's not an easy choice to choose the career of a ballet dancer. But if you have the 3 important things, your internal characteristics, external characteristics, and the right plan of action, your success is guaranteed.